what is the biggest issue confronting you as a member of Congress today on the issue of peace and justice?
Well, I tell you, the issue of peace and justice is a very broad issue. I think one of the biggest issues confronting all of us in Congress is how do we bring peace with justice, not only here in our own country, but throughout the world. How do we create an economy? How do we create jobs with justice? How do we create a planet? How do we make sure that climate change is mitigated and we stop and save the planet? Violence on so many fronts. You have our young people killing each other. You have gun violence. You have black on black crime. You have such domestic violence. When you look at violence in our own country, you have to really wonder what's really going on, and hope that our young people aren't seeing war and violence as a standard that they need to replicate here at home. And I think subtly a lot of that is seeping in, unfortunately. And so I think one of the biggest issues that we have to confront is violence, both here and abroad, and how we really change the values and change our priorities and understand that peace is possible and that we have to have. And I support a Department of Peace because you have really in many ways a Department of War, and so we have to have peace as an option in every aspect of our lives.
Congressman, clearly one of the big debates in Washington right now is Afghanistan and a commitment of troops to Afghanistan. But Crystal is preparing a report asking for more. You're one of the most passionate voices of peace in the U.S. Congress. What do you hope ultimately is going to be the president's plan for Afghanistan?
I hope the president rejects the call for more troops. I introduced a resolution very recently, and have about 22 co-sponsors, that has said no additional funds for any additional troops for Afghanistan. I opposed the initial authorization to use force that gave not only President Bush, but this president a blank check really to use force in perpetuity. I think if you understand the Constitution, only Congress can declare war. And we gave that war-making authority to the presidency, and I could not support that. I think it's time to redeploy our troops. I think we have to look at an exit strategy. We tried to pass a resolution several months ago to require the president to come up with an exit plan. We got 138 votes for that. But when you look at the history of Afghanistan, when you look at the fact that the Soviets couldn't win, the British couldn't win, when you look at the fact that Al-Qaeda is not in Afghanistan but in Pakistan, when you look at where the nuclear weapons are, and when you look at this whole counterterrorism strategy, it's not Afghanistan. We have to help the Afghani women and help the Afghani people develop a country that is sustainable economically, but in no way are we going to be able to win militarily in Afghanistan. The more troops that come into Afghanistan, the worse it's going to get. The hardened the Taliban will get in terms of their violence against our troops and against our country. So I just quite frankly don't support it, and I hope the president makes a decision not to send additional troops. But it's very difficult for him, and I know he's listening to all points of views, and I have to thank him and commend him for being so deliberative and so cautious in how he's approaching this.
Some would say that justice is, that healthcare reform and justice is a synonymous term, that they mean the same thing. You can't have justice without healthcare reform in the U.S., that's part of justice for the American people. And one of the big initiatives that seems to be falling out today is a public option. And, we're not there yet. We don't know what the end result's going to be. But how hopeful are you that the public option is going to be in the ultimate plan that the president signs?
I don't think a plan can pass without a robust public option in the bill. When you look at what has happened over the last 4 months, there's 60 of us who have signed a letter to the Speaker and the President and said we are unwavering in our support, because if you don't have a robust public option, how in the world are you going to bring down the cost of insurance for those who already have insurance? The insurance industry is gouging people. Premiums have to come down. They won't come down if you don't have a public option. The uninsured won't be insured unless you have a public option. And these insurance companies, as the President said, won't be honest. They won't be competitive if you don't have a public option. So this is essential. Otherwise, you're just tinkering around the edges, and it's not really real health care reform. Health care should be a right, not a privilege, and it is a matter of justice. Senator Kennedy, our great warrior, said that over and over again, that in the wealthiest and most powerful country in the world, health care must not be a privilege. And so we have to see this as an issue of justice and an issue of morality. It's a moral imperative that we pass health care reform with a robust public option.
And finally, a Nobel Prize for the President. You're chair of the Black Caucus. You are a warrior for justice and peace. You must be very proud of the President. And what did you think when you first heard it?
God, I said, this is awesome. A former member of the Congressional Black Caucus has received the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's our president. And let me tell you, it is well deserved. What he has done in the first 6 months of his presidency, look at his speech at Cairo, look at his movement now with Iran, when you look at what he's done with North Korea, when you look at all of the openings that President Obama has made on the side of peace, you have to say congratulations. I sent him a letter and also issued a public statement, because I know there's some who don't think he deserves it, but I'm going to tell you, I think this man deserves it more than that, and I'm so delighted that he has received it.
This is a script to our reporters here. Yeah, I know. Thank you.